Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Q&A with Perfectly Holistic. My name is Pam Roussel, and I am so excited to be back with you guys tonight. It has been a very long time, it feels like, since we last had a call together. So, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope your holidays were amazing, and I hope your new year is off to a great start. So, if you are joining us tonight, I'm going to be watching the comments over here in the comment section. Drop a line. Let me know if you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions about cat stuff, if you're interested in using a more holistic approach, you want some input, some ideas, suggestions, let me know, because that's why we're here. That's why I do what I do. My passion is empowering and supporting amazing cat parents to employ and to learn how to utilize more of a holistic approach for their cats, whether that's physically, emotionally, or spiritually. So I'm just here to share what I've learned so that you guys can benefit and do the best that you can for your cats. So I want to welcome everybody who's watching on Instagram and Facebook and our YouTube platforms. So thank you guys so much. And Bonnie is here tonight. Hello, how are your boys? Your sweet boys, Prince and Jasper. Tell them hi from me. So I'm going to give it a couple, just a few seconds here to see if I can just have time for people to join us and let the algorithm kind of kick in a little bit. So once again, it's January 4th. I want to say a happy birthday to my mom. I don't know that she is watching, but it is her birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. She is 82 years young. And she's having a great day. I talked to her earlier today. So anyway, Corby is watching from Charleston, South Carolina. And Bonnie says her cats are great, cuddling up in the cold. I am great. I've got the kittens running around here a second ago. They were just playing here, so God knows where they are now. Everybody's doing good. We had really good holidays. It was quiet. It was busy. My line of work, it never stops. Slowing down a little bit here and there, but we just keep plugging along. There's a lot of stuff to always get done. So let me know if you guys have any questions or any topics you want to cover tonight. I do have an announcement that I'm going to save for later as we get going. It's very exciting, and I'm very excited to present that information to you guys. So, first of all, let's see if there was anything else I wanted to cover announcement wise. I can't think of anything. Well, let me share this. We are doing a special promotion through the entire month of January. One of our themes this month is growing. So learning, becoming more knowledgeable. So I've put all of the workshops that we have on our website on sale. You can save 10% off. So if you want to learn how to do muscle testing or learn about color therapy or iridology, or even homeopathy, how to use homeopathy with your cats or your dogs, you can check out the workshops available at shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com and go to the drop down under workshops, and you'll see the whole selection there. Let's see. I'm going to say hi to some people here on Instagram. Let me scroll up. So is anything new in your cat's world? Did you get them some really cool stuff for Christmas? Have you had any problems over Christmas, like digestive issues, emotional issues that kind of came up that you're struggling with? Maybe you need some ideas on how to give your cats a really good start for the year. January is a good time to kind of take a look at what we've been doing and seeing if it serves us. And if not, what can we do differently to get a different outcome or a better result? So that is always interesting to do some introspective, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for our cats, right? So anyway, let's see here. I'm going to scroll through some of these comments. So Bonnie says, got to leave for work, but we'll watch later. I want to start taking classes. So that's great. Yes. Awesome. Yeah, we have, I think 4 workshops available to choose from right now. So, you can never stop learning. I think when you stop learning, you stop growing. And there's always something new to learn, especially if you are kind of jumping into the holistic health side of things. It's like opening up a can of worms, and one fascinating topic will lead you to another fascinating topic. And there's just always, it's like something else just keeps piling in that you are curious about. And I say, jump in with that curiosity and go for it. It just builds your holistic toolkit at the same time. So the more knowledge you have, the better you can do. Let's see. Corby says, I just got back from the vet today. 6 stones in bladder on an x-ray. Oh, that's not good. Your poor baby. I'm wondering if did they suggest, let me guess, a prescription urinary diet, right? They're so predictable. The key is figuring out why the stones developed in the first place. So I'm not an expert. I'm not a vet. I'm not a medical professional. I'm an energy expert. I look at things from an energetic perspective, from a holistic lens. And so my first thought is do some research into what causes bladder stones to develop in the first place, and then start to go through all those potential causes and see what you can change in your cat's environment, lifestyle, diet, to make those improvements, and to look and see what you can find from herbal or homeopathy to support the bladder in dissolving those stones, maybe on their own, so that you don't necessarily have to rely on a medication that you may not feel comfortable with. So let's see. Bladder stones. I mean, it just feels like there could be calcium. Do they know what kind of stones they were? Struvite. I think, oh gosh, there's struvite crystals, and there's another oxalate stones. One of the products that I know one of my clients has used with their cat who has crystals a lot is the restricting certain minerals in their diet. I don't know what kind of food you're feeding. Perhaps if you're feeding raw food at all, I know that Fetching Foods has created a special diet for my client whose cat has a tendency to get the crystals and the stones, and that's been working really well for her. So you may want to investigate seeing if maybe they can create one for you. I know it has to do with restricting specific types of organ meat. And when you do that, you're going to have to replace some of those minerals and vitamins with synthetics or other food sources. So that can be something to look at and explore. pH, the thing is, if you can keep the pH in the 6s, where it's very acidic, you're going to have a lot less likelihood of developing bladder issues at all. So she says they can't tell if it's struvite or calcium oxalate until they're removed. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, yes, Fetching Foods is the company she's currently using. I'm trying to think. I know she's also tried a bunch of different bladder support supplements. So I don't remember if you can always overdo things, right? So the diet is, and there was let me get my words. There is a supplement called D-L-methionine that can be really, really helpful to add into the food to help prevent those kinds of issues. So you may want to try looking at that as well. She says the RX food supposedly keeps pH 6.2 to 6.4. Yes, that may be the case, but however, the reality with prescription diets is the food, the it's not really food. It's feed grade. It's feed grade ingredients, meaning it's not ingredients that you would ingest yourself. It's not inspected and passed by a USDA facility. So it could be sourced from all different kinds of, not healthy, toxic sources like roadkill. I'll just say it. Um, Feed grade materials, ingredients are not not clean, so you just never know what you're getting. And if you wouldn't eat it yourself, you probably don't want your cats to eat it, right? Another thing to remember about prescription cat food is you're only supposed to use it for a short time. And a lot of these vets will say your cat has to be on this for life. But what happens is they can become nutritionally deficient because of the prescription diet, I quote, air quotes here, restricts something. Okay. And so what happens is whatever it's restricting that your cat really needs, it can become deficient in those areas. So you have to keep in mind that this is temporary. Now, there is a whole food option for I'm going to call it prescription food for urinary issues, and that is Medicus. Dr. Chris Besant, who is an herbalist and nutritionist and holistic vet, developed the whole Medicus line, and it is freeze-dried cat food that you can rehydrate, and it's from food sources. And she has a urinary diet that you can look at and maybe give it a try. If you go to Medicus Veterinary Diet, is it medicusveterinaridiets.com, or just Google Medicus, Medicus veterinary diets, you're going to find a link to their website. And if you have any questions, reach out to them. But that would be a good option to explore, because at least you're getting quality ingredients that are food grade, made from whole foods, and not just a bunch of crap 4D meats. So that's my take. And again, get the bladder healthy, get it in balance, and then the key is maintaining. So things like stress, things like dry food ingredients can raise the pH. So we have to look at environment, we have to look at diet, and you just have to do the very best you can. Yes, it's called Medicus Veterinary Diet. I think it's veterinary diet because she is a vet. So I think that's why she calls it Medicus Veterinary Diets. But yeah, you may want to check that out and see if you get some ideas. She's done all the research. She uses quality sourcing in all of her ingredients. And she uses whole food sources for everything when possible. She asks, what about a pH cat water? Here's the thing. From my understanding, cats just don't drink a lot of water to begin with. So if you're going to put pH water down, don't expect them to go drink it all day. If you're feeding a species appropriate moisture rich diet, they're getting most of their moisture requirements in their food. And if it's fresh food, like gently cooked, raw, those kinds of things, you're going to have the intracellular moisture in the meat itself, which is so easy for the body to absorb versus adding an external source of water. It's not that you can't do it. You can add a little bit of the pH water, but when it goes through the metabolism process through the digestive tract, I don't know that it stays a certain pH, if that makes sense. So I don't have enough information specifically about how well the pH water works once it's been ingested. In theory, it sounds like a good idea, but how effective is it? And I'm just asking this out loud. So if you guys know, drop a comment in below. If you have experience with that and you know more information, definitely share that, because that would be good to know. I have not personally used the cat pH water, but you know what? You can add a little thing here, a little thing there, and just collectively or synergistically do what you can to support the bladder, support the diet. in a way that there is, some benefit to the cat, and you want to keep checking to make sure that what you're doing is working. So doing those regular follow-ups for the bladder, do the urinalysis so that you can check to see if what you're doing is working, and don't wait, months and months to go back, because you could be wasting a lot of time. But, maybe once a month, go in and do another check and just make sure that what you're doing is helping and working. She says, there's that brand cat water. I've heard of it and I've seen pictures of it online. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to try something, but if you're just going to rely solely on the cat water to do everything for you, I think you will be disappointed, because again, that's just a part of the puzzle. We have to address the root cause. When you can address the root cause, feed as close to a species appropriate diet as possible. Definitely avoid the dry food. Give the bladder some time to heal. And again, there are wonderful bladder support supplements to, support the lining, to support function, to prevent things like the pH getting too high. So, just you have to look at things from a collective perspective, from a synergistic perspective, and see, what's causing the issues, and then what can you do to address each part of that might be affecting your cat. So I hope that helps. Again, pH water is certainly not going to hurt if you wanted to add a little bit into the food, but make sure the food is wet to begin with. And that goes a long way. Again, if your cat is drinking a lot of water, then there's probably some other issues, like maybe they are constantly dehydrated. There is also the possibility, if your cat is drinking a lot of water, that the water element of the body, one of the 5 Chinese elements, could be out of balance. So the body is needing some more water. I know whenever that happens with my cats, it's because they're stressed, or there's 2 kittens in the house with 2 older cats, and they get a little weirded out and they get nervous, and the kittens can go crazy all around them, and it makes them afraid. And when cats get totally overwhelmed from fear or anxiety, it can throw their water element out of balance. And it's one of the 5 elements of the body. It covers the kidneys and the bladder, and it covers one of the emotions is fear. So, in my cat's cases, whenever I see them go over and drink a little bit out of the water bowl, I'm like, okay, there's some emotional stuff going on. And every time to this point, it has been correct. So a little energy work, we've cleared all the stressors and the emotional blocks, and their water element goes back into balance, and they stop drinking the water again. So it's pretty cool how all the energy stuff can work. So I hope that gives you some idea. I know that was a long answer. I'm going to come over here to Facebook, and Buffy Faye. Hi, Buffy. She says, do you have a workshop on how to use the pendulum? Not specifically the pendulum, but the muscle testing workshop is the basics. And one of the modalities that I teach in that workshop is how to use the pendulum. So you'll get the basics on that. But I think it's important to have the overall understanding of how muscle testing works, and how to do questions versus statements, and when you use the questions, when you use the statements, how to go through the question process or the statement process to make sure that you're getting clear, precise answers. But you have to start with the right format of the questions or the statements to get the clarity that you need. Let's see. So yeah, you can find the muscle testing workshop on shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com. Okay. I'm going to go back up here. So Soup Yoga Christy, stand up paddle yoga. I've done that. It's really awesome. Let me go up and see if I can find your question. It's a question. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to go see if I can find it. I sent you a question, not sure if you can see it. Did you send it on Instagram? Oh, you sent it on was it a post? Did you send it on a post? I don't have the ability, I don't think, to find. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm not able to pull that up right now while we're streaming because it's on my phone. I'm using my phone for the Instagram stream. If there's a possibility that you can drop it in the comments here, then I can see it and we'll try to go from there. Lindsay's here. Lindsay, we were just talking about special diets for oxalate and struvite crystals in cats. And I think L-methionine is one of the products that you are using. Is that correct? And we talked about Fetching Foods doing special diet for you. Okay, so Christy is going to repost her question here. Awesome. Okay, let me get some water. I don't know if you can hear it. My cats are playing in the bathtub, but I just hear these little rumbling sounds in there. So they probably have one of their toys in there. And that's probably why my older cats get a little stressed out because they get a little cray-cray sometimes. Okay, so Christy says, my 2.5-year-old Bengal sometimes quivers, and I wonder if it's due to low blood sugar. When he was little, it would happen while we traveled. Tonight we were out walking and he was quivering. I'll bet it's probably not blood sugar. My first guess would be anxiety, nervousness, being in an uncertain environment, like being outside, even on a harness. It could be something like nerves. Does it happen like when he's sleeping, or does it mainly happen like when he goes out for walks or traveling? If he's out of his normal environment, then I would say it's probably due to nerves or anxiety. That would probably be more like my first guess. Because if your cat is healthy and, eating a species appropriate diet, there shouldn't be blood sugar issues. Now, if the cat is diabetic and he's diabetic, that could be a totally different issue. But so much of diabetes is tied to diet. So, and he's so young. So that would not be like, that doesn't resonate for me. I'm not a vet. I can't diagnose anything, of course. But, some cats can get a little anxious and they can get a little worked up. They can feel the energy from their environment, which can make them kind of shake sometimes, or they'll lick or they'll like scratch, and it's kind of their way of trying to get the energy off of them. So some cats can just be overstimulated. Now, given the fact that he was, he's a Bengal, he's high energy, that breed is, and I'm just leaning toward the fact that it's probably some kind of anxiety or nervousness issue. If I were you, I would start keeping like a diary of when you notice the symptom, what time of day it was, put the date on there so you can kind of track and get a clear picture of how often it happens, what time of day it happens, what part of his body is affected. Is it just his head that kind of quivers? Is it his tail? Is it his whole body? Is his skin rippling as well? Like, are there any other additional things happening at the same time? We call those concomitant symptoms, things that happen at the same time as something else. So start to look, like, from, just step back and take a 40,000-foot view instead of a 1-foot view, metaphorically, and try to look at it from a holistic perspective. Like, what was he just doing? What were the circumstances involved? Has he had any illness? Has he had any vaccines lately? How long has it been going on? I mean, there's just so many questions that we could ask about that topic. So after she gave him some treats, it went away. It really could be excitement or anxiety about going out. And it could be, especially if he's already outside, it could be cold, because it is cold in Canada. And even here in Texas, it's cold right now. So like today, I think a high was 55 or 52, and that's cold for Texas. I know in some parts of the country that people are just rolling their eyes going, man, that's not cold. But it's cold for Texans, let me tell you. And I love it. I love the change of weather. We get very hot summers. So, okay, so he did have a booster on Saturday. Interesting. Okay. That could be adverse reaction to the vaccine that he just had. Do you know what kind of vaccine it was? Was it one vaccine? Was it two vaccines? Because that could be a totally different set of circumstances that you're starting to look at. One of the adverse reactions of vaccines is neurological things like twitching, like little tremors, like shaking. I mean, there's just so many. There's diarrhea, there's scratching, there's itching, there's red welts that can come. I mean, you could run the whole gamut of vaccine adverse effects. So if he had a booster, I would look at detoxing the vaccines and all the ingredients in them. I have a vaccine detox program available at Purrrfectly Holistic. It's a PDF that you can order through shop.purrfectlyholistic.com that will tell you the why we do detox, how you do detox, the protocols, the products, and things like that to use to help you do it effectively and gently. And it will make recommendations of products to use for that. So it's a process. If there was any heavy metals in there, the Adored Beast Rebalancer will not take care of that. I have not found, in my experience, that product to be very effective, especially if a cat has had multiple vaccines. If it's a rabies vaccine, it doesn't ever resonate for helping to address that. And you would probably need to do some additional work for heavy metal and chemical removal. So again, the vaccine detox program may be exactly what would help you kind of walk through that process. Let's see. I prefer using single remedies for specific vaccines. So all of that is laid out in the program that I got. Can you get it in Canada? Of course, yes. It's an online shop, and it's a PDF that you can order. So I sent it to you. I send you a link through email. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can benefit from that program. So it just helps you walk through the process and understand why we do it, how we do it, and how to do it effectively, and make sure it's safe and gentle on your cat. So absolutely. And then some of the products that you'll need, you can get, I want to say most of the products you can probably order through, online. The only thing that I know some people have had a hard time getting is one of the remedies called Lyssin, Lyssin, a 200C or a 30C. But if your cat's had multiple vaccines, I would use a 200C. I carry that, and it's a custom dose. I've had to mail through the regular mail to Canada a few times in just a little envelope. So if you get stuck and can't find it, you can certainly get that. shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com. Just look under products and you'll see vaccine detox under the drop down, and you'll have all the different the options on there for that. But under homeopathy, I do carry the Listen remedy and I carry the Thuya remedy. Those are the two most common that I find resonate with pets for vaccines. So you can find that definitely on the website. I hope that helps. But in the meantime, get him on some liver support to help his body support, pull out those toxins, support the liver, because that's what the liver's trying to do. Should I keep giving him that booster and rabies? This and rabies were the only ones I've given him. Was it the FERCP? Was it the distemper vaccine? Let me know the answer to that. Here's the lowdown on vaccine, on revaccination. Veterinary immunologists who study the effects of vaccines and whether the body has immunity, whether they can mount an immune response if they face those viruses. The person I'm thinking of is Ronald Schultz, and he's the end all be all of veterinary immunologies, and he is now retired, but he studied for years. His research showed that a vaccine can last up to 7+ years, and in most cases will last the lifetime of an animal. So given the fact that our cats are maybe 10 pounds, that's like on an average, maybe 10 pounds, their initial vaccine could last them a lifetime. So one of the things that vets don't like to share, at least in the conventional side, is the fact that one vaccine may last the lifetime of that animal, and revaccinating them every year or 3 years or whatever they want you to come in for doesn't improve the immunity that the vaccine gives that pet. It only increases the chances of adverse reactions. So you could develop a chronic disease process by over vaccinating all the time. And I did it myself for years because I thought that's what we were supposed to do until I learned better. So we have a huge over vaccination problem in this country and many countries, probably everywhere, because it's been the standard of veterinary care, and that's what they're taught in medical school. So unless these vets have a more holistic, integrative mindset and have read studies from Dr. Ronald Schultz on veterinary immunology and have looked at anecdotal, accounts of pets and adverse reactions, and just done some research online to see the potential side effects of these vaccines and what they're doing to our pets, they're not likely to embrace even the thought of detoxing things. It just doesn't even cross their radar, unfortunately. So, people like myself have had to learn the hard way, and I had a cat die after being revaccinated. And I don't want anybody to go through that because it's unfortunate, number one, and it wasn't even necessary for that he had to be protected again because there's no such thing. So you have to make your own decisions regarding how many vaccines you want to give your cats. I personally am not a fan. If your cat lives indoors and has pretty much zero chance of contracting any kind of disease, then why are we even vaccinating them to begin with? Some areas will allow the pet parent to have an exemption. You have to ask for those. They don't necessarily just walk in and hand you the option. So you can ask for an exemption based on, maybe your cat has a health condition, maybe your cat is indoors, maybe your cat had an adverse reaction to a vaccine in the past and you are not comfortable revaccinating your pet. So those are just the hard conversations you have to have with your vet. And find somebody who will respect your views on the situation, and just know that, they're only doing what they're taught to do. But at the end of the day, as a pet guardian, it is our job to be an advocate for our cats and to stand up and say, you know what, I'm just not comfortable with that. And this is why. So that you can protect your cats from having things that, things like this that can harm them. And it's just unfortunate, is really what it comes down to, and a lack of education, a lack of knowledge. So that's one of my big passions, if you haven't been able to tell. She says he got the FVRCP and the rabies vaccines. Yeah, doesn't surprise me, especially when you give more than one vaccine at a time. If they have any heavy metals in them, it's overloading the nervous system. Heavy metals are neurotoxins to the body, and they can cause tremors. They can cause seizures. They can cause so much disruption in the microbiome and in the gut, and totally hurt the immune system. So it is very scary. I totally agree with you. She says it's scary. I don't want to, and it's so hard to have the vets make you feel guilty if you don't. I know. I've been there. You just have to kind of practice the script before you go in, what you're going to say, and just stand your ground. I mean, I've had to do that, and it's not fun. And it can be a little scary. She says he has juvenile HCM. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there's your exemption right there. On the vaccine label, it says for use in healthy animals only. And if your cat has juvenile HCM, that is a condition that is not going to go away, and it can be life or death to a cat if you start throwing these kinds of things into their body. It can affect their quality of life and their conditions. Oh, hello, Angel. So that's your exemption. So you tell your vet, on the label, it says for use in healthy animals only, and my cat has HCM. So I do not feel comfortable, and it would go against the manufacturer's recommendations. I would like an exemption, please, based on that information, and see where you, and just stand your ground and smile, and dig your heels in if you have to. And I cried. And when my vet realized that she wasn't going to win, she offered me the exemption. So you just have to follow your heart. At the end of the day, you just have to do your best. You have to follow your heart. And you know what? He definitely doesn't need any more boosters. I would say your cat is protected for life. And if you want to find out for sure, you can always do a titer test, TITER. This test is a blood test. You can send it off to hemopet.org. Ask for a blood draw, mail it to hemopet.org. Just reach out to them. They have they'll send you the information that you need to have to fill that out and to send it in. And they'll do a titer test. They'll test for the antibodies in the blood to see if your cat is still protected for those vaccines. And if they are, then there's no need to revaccinate. Again, it comes down to what's the risk, what's the benefit, and make the best decision accordingly. But your cat has a condition that I would say exempts him from getting any more vaccines whatsoever. Let's see. Yeah, the vet's offices will charge a small fortune for titer testing. Dr. Jean Dodds, I think her site is like $70. Don't quote me. Could be a little bit more than that, but I want to say around $70 to have it done. So that would be much, much better option than like the hundreds of dollars, which in my opinion is like thievery, that they want to charge people. And I think they do that to help oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Discourage you from getting a titer test. It's just so much cheaper just to revaccinate, right? So why don't we just do that? It'll save you a lot of money. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to protect your cat a lot more if we just titer, if you have to do a titer, than to keep revaccinating. So that would be my suggestion. Hello, Angel. I know. Are you want to say hi to everybody? This is Skylar. She is one of the kittens, and she is going to be 10 months old tomorrow, aren't you? Tomorrow is your 10-month-old birthday. Look at that face. Oh, I wish you guys could see this. Can you see that? She's so sweet. She says, so Christy says, I separate his boosters to reduce the load. Yeah, that's great. But you know what? I think at this point, he's had a lifetime worth of vaccine. He's probably got a lifetime worth of protection. So I don't, if it were my cat, I can't tell you what to do, but follow your heart. And yeah, it won't steer you wrong. So if you are having second thoughts, there's a reason that your intuition's like, you get those hits where you're just like, oh, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. We have to learn to trust ourselves, right? Let's see. She says, my plan was future titer testing, and they charge so much. Yeah, not anymore. Now you have a secret weapon. Okay, we're going to come over here to Facebook. And Lorna says, do you know of an appetite stimulant instead of mirtazapine? That is a great question. There are some accounts where people have used, what is it called? I'm going to go look it up. It's appetite. It's a homeopathic remedy for appetite. I don't know if it works with every cat, but let me just look it up real quick because I have it written down. Give me a second here. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what it's called. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hang on. No. I may have missed it. Appetite. My list is very long. Oh shoot, what is it called? Hang on. I'm going to find it for you. Why can't I remember that name? I must have skipped it. Hang on a second. I'm going to find it. I know that some cases, like special toppers, have or can be helpful if your cat has a favorite topper, like Bonita flakes, for example. Like my cats absolutely love that stuff. So if they're kind of being a little picky, I can sprinkle a little bit of Bonita flakes on top of it. You can warm it up a little bit. That can also help generate more interest in the food. So it's mouse temperature, or at least like room temperature. I'm still looking for my answers. Good Lord, where did this go? Sorry, this is taking longer than I thought. No, that's not it. I cannot remember the name of that stuff. Hang on. Here we go. Alfalfa 30C. So alfalfa 30C in some cases has helped with appetite, and you can get that at RX Homeo Inc. Or just do a Google search for alfalfa, just like the grass, alfalfa 30C. Let's see. Let me look on here to see what else. Okay, Antimonium crudum and soranum is also good for appetite that has diminished after a severe disease. The remedy China is for poor appetite and abdominal fullness, so they feel full. Although I don't know if you would be able to tell with your cat. Colchicum is when nausea accompanies anorexia, like not wanting to eat. And colchicum is Colchicum. Ignatia is for anorexia from depression or sadness. So anorexia, of course, is not eating. So try experimenting with toppers. And is there a specific condition, Lorna, that your cat has that you're trying to work through? Like, is it pancreas issues? Is it a chronic illness? Is it kidney disease? Like, there's always usually a reason that the cat doesn't have an appetite. So, some people have even tried sprinkling nutritional yeast on the food, and some cats like that too. So I think you just have to be creative and know your cat and know what your cat really likes. Emotional, if it's an emotional issue that might be kind of underlying some of the resistance, energy work can clear those blocks. I call them blocks because it's an emotional block to a food. Even after an illness or during an illness and things like that, it can help. So you may want to look at doing some energy work to clear some energetic blocks, because that can help too. Okay, so let's see. Kit says, I found out too late. My cat had heart failure. I was focused on her chronic kidney disease. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my heart goes out to you. I know that it's so hard. We think we're trying to, again, I think it's so easy to get lost in the weeds sometimes because we are focusing on one thing instead of standing back and taking a look at the big picture. And it's not our fault, right? We're not trained as vets. Our vets are trained to do that. So the more we can step back and look at things from a holistic perspective, the better off we'll be, because there are things that can mask other things. If you can find a really good integrative vet who can take like the 40,000 foot view instead of the myopic view, that can really be helpful too. She said he's on a B12 appetite stimulant. B12 is also a really good option too. So Lorna, that might work. The B12 does have an effect on some cats. It helps improve their appetite. So if you haven't tried that for certain, try that. So she says pancreas, liver, gallbladder issues, and I was seeing a holistic vet. Okay. The pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder are collectively all very involved in the digestion process. So I would probably do some work on changing proteins, changing the food, because there's always an underlying reason that one of those three spokes of the wheel here kind of gets, bent out of shape. And so is it just a detox process that needs to happen? Is there a sluggish gallbladder that's going on? Can you use some food sources, bitter herbs and things like that? I know cats don't like bitter, but if we can mix it in with some slippery elm or something to make it taste better, maybe that would help. Supporting the liver and the gallbladder's function, and supporting the pancreas with digestive enzymes, but maybe changing the food proteins, because if we keep feeding the same thing and expecting them to get better when there's pancreas issues, it may not work. So maybe take a look at that and see what you've been feeding, and maybe time to change up. And again, if you run into food blocks because of changing proteins, energy work is awesome and can work within minutes to clear blocks. I do it all the time for my fear-based cats who are getting traumatized from kittens. So it works. Let's see. Lorna says he gets B12. Awesome. Okay. If that is not helping as much, then try changing proteins, because again, if they have some kind of association with that food because of the illness conditions, then that can cause a food block, and maybe just changing something in the diet so they can have something different might show more interest as well. She says, I did change the food on Adored products. Okay, Adored Beast products and homeopathic remedies. Okay. Maybe some energy work can help like clear some of that blockage and find some, some room to maneuver through that whole resistance process, especially if it's food resistance. Yeah, give that some thought. And if you know how to muscle test, go through each one of those products and find out if it's working. See if it's effective and making a difference. If it's not, drop it. Sometimes cats get turned off by food because we put too much stuff in it, or we put stuff in it that they don't want or they don't need, and they know they don't need it, and so therefore they're like, nope, not eating that. Until you change to take that out of my food, then I'll eat my food. So we have to be creative sometimes and kind of figure out ways around their resistance, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see over here. Hi, DQ. It's so good to see you. Christy says, what brand of milk thistle do you recommend? There's so many really good brands. I can't carry them all, but I do carry Animal Essentials and I carry Herbsmith. Let me think. I know you can take a product from, a health food store that's made for humans, whatever. And you can use a product like that if you don't have any options near you or you can't order anything online. We just have to cut the dosage down. Now, I know that Herb Farm is another brand that's, again, human brand, but you could use that. There are some brands that have milk thistle with glycerin, and forgive me, I do not know their names. Let me see what else I can find on here. Pet Well-Being has a milk thistle. RX Vitamins has a liquid hepato formula. Adored Beast has liver tonic. That might be a good one because I think it's less of a bad taste. So NHV Naturals is another brand online. I think they're out of Canada actually, and they have a milk thistle. I think is it called one of their products is called Tripsy, but that's for kidney. But they do have a milk thistle also. When it comes to cats and taste buds, you know how they are. We have to be creative, and you may have to break that dose up over multiple little small meals to get it all in them. So, you do what you got to do. Now, energy work, once again, can clear those taste bud blocks. And interestingly enough, the emotion disgust emanates and is stored in the stomach. So when you're introducing something to your cat and they're like, like, no, I'm not going to eat that. That is the emotion disgust. So energy work, again, can clear that block of disgust toward a food, toward a supplement, and give you a lot more room to work it into their protocols. Lorna says, I had some muscle testing done, but that holistic vet moved away. We tried another vet, but not helpful. You can learn how to do this yourself. Take my workshop. It's just the basics, but it will give you the basic skills. So you don't have to rely on somebody else. I also have idiomotor response testing available through my site. It's with Pendulum. So if that's of interest, it kind of works the same way. I just don't call it muscle testing because I'm using a pendulum. So idiomotor response testing. Maybe I can help you. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions? This has been good. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's question. If I missed your question, I apologize. I'm trying to scroll through two different. Oh, okay, Christy, I see your question. Platforms. Okay, so she says, please let me know which vaccine detox package to order. If you got both vaccines, you're going to need at least, you'll need the program, which is the guide. And then since if you're in Canada, see if you can take that guide and locate similar products with the exception of the homeopathic remedy, listen, I think. You can probably find something similar to replace, stuff so you don't have to pay international shipping because it's expensive to ship all of that stuff to Canada. To send a custom dose of a remedy, I just send it in a first class envelope, so it's simple. But you'll need to get the program first, and that will tell you what to do and what to use. And it will have the product recommendations on that program that you can then take to your local pet food store, health food store, and know what to start looking up online and see if you can locate it, locally, or at least something that you can order so you don't have to order it from the United States. I hope that helps a little bit because it's so damn expensive. It's frustrating. Are you in the USA? Okay, for some reason I thought you were in Canada. Why did I think you were in Canada? I have a shipping address in the USA. Okay, perfect. Get the program, and if you've done both, which you've done both vaccines, you're going to want to get package 2 or package 4 because they will have both remedies, if that makes sense. And the other stuff is just other stuff that helps the process. But definitely get something that covers both remedies to cover both vaccines. But again, the program will outline all that for you. Okay, let's see and make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Anybody else's question I missed, I apologize. Yeah, make sure. Okay. Well, gosh, it's already almost 8 o'clock. I can't believe we've been here for an hour. I want to thank you guys. Before we go, this is my announcement. I am super excited because I am launching my Mastering Muscle Testing for Healthy, Happy Cats program. And this is geared toward cats with FHS type symptoms. That can be skin rippling, erratic behavior, seizure episodes, the self-mutilation, the scratching, the over-grooming, all of the feline hyperesthesia type symptoms. That is really who I am gearing the help toward this program because those people need a lot of help. There's just not a lot of resources or information out there. So with my program, that is going to be a private membership program only. So it is, it's not going to be for everybody. It may not resonate with everybody is what I'm going to say. It can help everybody who wants to do the work, but I want to help cats who have the FHS symptoms and the people who want a more holistic approach go from a place of frustration and guilt and worry and feeling powerless and watching their cat decline or just exist to a place of empowerment, relief, confidence, and success. And you're going to do this by learning how to master muzzle testing in order to find the energetic root cause of the situation and then the tools that the body needs in order to heal itself. And this will happen so that your cat can live the happy, healthy life that it deserves to live. These cats and their pet parents are struggling. I see it every day in the groups that I'm in. And so I want to just extend the opportunity for you guys. If you have never booked a call with me to talk about your cat's FHS symptoms, now is the time, because I'm enrolling people in this private program that will start the first Tuesday of February. There's a limited space, and you're going to be working with me live every week. In a private group setting, as well as weekly calls, and it is a lifetime program. So the skills that you're going to learn in this program, you can carry forward for any cat in your house, not just the FHS cats, but you can also benefit from all these skills that you're going to learn to help yourself, okay, and family members. It's so fundamental to everything that you will do to implement a holistic approach to healing your cat. So to learn more about that program, simply book a discovery call. I've put the link in the notes here at the top of the page, under the comments. So you can book a call. We can find out, what your challenges are, what you're struggling with the most, and if this program would be a good fit for you or not. Because like I said, it may not be for everyone. But if that resonates with you on some level, I would love to chat with you to see if it's a good fit and see how we can get you signed up. So that's going, it's live. So I'm super, super excited. I've been working on the research, and gosh, for 5 months now. So I've put it together. I'm excited to roll it out, and would love to visit with you guys if you have an FHS type situation. So, anyway, let me know if you have any questions. And I just thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me. I hope you got some ideas. And, I wish you guys all the very best. I wish you a very, very healthy, happy, prosperous new year for both you and your cats. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. So we'll be back with more Q&A next month. But in the meantime, we do have Rita Hogan on the radio show this month, coming up in here in about 2 weeks. And let's see. Oh, and there's manifesting reminders with Deanna. So we're going to be doing that toward the end of the month. So again, we'll see you guys online. Thank you so much for being here, and y'all have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you soon.